Football in Australia is at a fascinating crossroads. The old guard of the Aaron Moyes, Matt Ryan, Matthew Leckie, they are either retired or retiring, but we may be on the cusp of a golden generation. Players like Iran Kunda flying the flag of what could be for Australian football. But there are no guarantees with Australian football. We've had similar hope in the past, the Daniel Arzanis of the world not living up to hype. So today I'm taking control of my home nation of Australia, and I'm going to make Australian football the best in the world. And I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone. The Western Sydney Wanderers is where we will conduct this operation. I've moved the mighty Wanderers to EFL League One, and I'm gonna make them champions of Europe using only Australian players. But it's gonna be a grind, lads. Only £2 million. We're gonna have to sell smart, invest smart, and lay the foundations early. And I can't lie, fellas, in real life and on this experiment, the position I'm most nervous about for the future of Australian football is goalkeeper. We have had through my lifetime a lineage of talent. Mark Bosnich into Mark Schwarzer into Matt Ryan. But it is so uncertain who is going to take Matt Ryan's spot once he hangs up the gloves. I'm going to be throwing every asset possible to make sure we have a goalkeeper. Patrick Beach could be that man from Melbourne City. We are going to sign the 22-year-old for £1 million. And this will be the type of rebuild where we're going to have to take a step backwards, likely backwards, to take a million steps forward. I'm going to be selling off some high-rated players. Gabriel Clare, funnily enough, retired from football this past week to go into, I want to say, become a psychologist. So the fact that we're even getting money to send him to Cardiff is perfect. But some of our older players that are higher rated and all of our foreign players will be going. The captain, Lawrence Thomas, is a no-brainer if we're going to have Beach be successful. Lawrence Thomas getting a move to Spain here for $500,000. There are some young talents on this squad though that I really want to see what we can do. Ricky Franson, the defender, one of them, sending him off on loan for the year. And the same deal with Ben Mewett, the young left back, is going to Barrow for 2 years. But this right here is one that I'm upset about and also stoked about. Krajev is the highest rated player on this Wanderers squad, but he's Hungarian or Bulgarian, one of the two. But Krajev is going to Palermo. 1.25 is a lot of money. And immediately we're going to reinvest that money back into the club. I'm trying to go quality over quantity, especially in these first few seasons. You know, the Wanderers are such a producing club that we have some talent we can lean on in certain areas. I mean, that's half the reason the Wanderers are in a bad situation in real life, because we produce such good young talent and immediately sell them on. But it is another player who used to be in the City Football Group umbrella. It is Alex Robertson, the attacking midfielder, joining us from Cardiff City. I want him to be a crucial part of our offense this year. 2.2 mil, that's basically our whole budget. We also need to make sure we get ourselves promoted as soon as possible, because so many of these players that I want to sign have the unwilling to relocate badge because we are in League One. But if we're going to make any more signings, we have to sell a lot of players. Josh Brillante's been everywhere, but now he's following a path a lot of A-League players do, and that is to go to Korea. Cicluna, he's Maltese on the game, used to be part of the Australian system, but I'm actually going to loan him out. I feel like we can squeeze a little bit out of him. Ironically, he comes to FC Cincinnati, traveling from my favorite Australian team to now the city I live of Cincinnati. Ruan Tongyik, the centre-back, heading off to India. And again, I'm a fan of this guy, but he's a money maker in this current context. Steven Ugarkovic coming to the MLS, joining up with the new boys, San Diego FC. Being in League One and having the budget that we do has really hamstrung the type of players we can go in for. So I'm going in for a left midfielder who necessarily wasn't my first choice. Obviously, I would like Iran Kunda involved there at some point, but for now we're going for Matthew Grimaldi, whilst also going in for a much more raw prospect where I can do this where I can and go in for a super young player that I can hopefully develop by loaning out. I'm going to do it. It is a 17-year-old left midfielder, Amlani Tatu. He is Australian. He's playing for Adelaide United. He's 57 overall. I want to get him a loan and see what he can do because he has really good potential. Jared Carluccio cashing in on him and sending him to Ireland. And finally getting some loan moves over the line. Tatu heads to Barnsley for 2 years. Going to be closely monitoring his progress. Jai Rose, a super raw left midfield prospect, going on loan to India. Whilst the young striker Alep Abdul Rahman also goes to India. So, after our opening window, this is what our squad looks like. It is very raw, and there is so many positions where we desperately need to upgrade, but this is what we're working with for now. For me right now, priority number one, get out of League One. And yes, I know, some people are probably going to comment it. I know Costa Barbarouses is a Kiwi, but right now, we don't have the money to upgrade him with a player that I want, so we're going to be leaning on his high overall and experience just for this first year. Oh, God. Okay, we are not concerned with promotion right now. I am concerned with staying up in the league. How do we have 10 draws, bro? Halfway through the season. Oh dear, this is not good. I'm also nervous because we have £90,000 in our budget. We're not going to be able to bring anybody in. I'm going to make some tactical changes, but right now I need to trust in the system. No, screw that. This is what we're going to do. I'm selling the Egyptian defender Mohamed Altai, who has left in real life, £660,000. And to replace him, we're going to go and get a young Australian midfielder. I'm going to change the formation. Another player that has super raw potential. This could have raw potential. Signing him from the Brisbane Roar, it's Sam Klein. We've moved to a 3 at the back. I think it's better having Philip Kankar getting starting game time versus having Alex Gersbach, who's 28. Simmons is decent. I could always convert him to right midfield, but I think this is how we get our strongest overall squad on the field. The gamble paid off. Get in there. Up the Wanderers, up the Aussies. We finished 13th, and the thing that I really like is we had 10 draws halfway through the season. We converted the draws into wins, and that is what helps us stay up comfortably. 59 points, 14 clear of Wigan and Northampton, who go down alongside Lincoln and AFC Wimbledon. But it also frustrates me because if we had gotten off to a half-decent start to the season, maybe we would have been in the promotion conversation. Probably not automatic, but at least the playoffs. A look around the grounds though, FA Cup champions this year are Bournemouth. We actually went out in the quarterfinals to Bournemouth, and Villa win the Carabao Cup. The Virtu Trophy, which I assume is like the old Papa John's Cup, that was won by Wigan Athletic, whilst Wickham will be going up to the championship. But what I'm most interested is around our top performers, and probably the most annoying thing we could have had, Costa Barbarouses, who is going to be leaving us at the end of the season, got 29 goals. We are going to have to fill that next year. Brandon Borrello at age 30 gets himself 26 goal contributions. Alu Kual making a great stand though to get the starting spot for next year. But how did the growth of the players pan out for the guys we sent off on loan? Ben Mewett goes up +3 for Ricky Franson. This is what I'm happy about though. Amlani Tattoo, the wonder kid, halfway through his loan spell goes up 6 overall. I almost want to just bring him back next year. Jai Rose goes up +5. Dylan Cicluna at FC Cincinnati goes up +3. Abdul Rahman +4. Those are good starting spots. As I said though, Costa Barbarouses will be the only man not returning next year. Such an odd first year in charge of Australian football, but the journey stays the same. The goal remains the same. We are on track to making Australia the world's greatest footballing nation. Checking free agency in this type of a video is going to be so crucial every year, and I'm so glad I did it to start season 2 because we have found potentially a face that could change Australian football. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our new starting center defensive midfielder, a man mountain, somebody that is going to dominate in our midfield. 70 overall youngster, Josip Scott. At age 17, I am so excited to spend a lot of time with him. And one part of my recruitment business for this year is making sure that we can grow the squad and have it grow long term. But the other half, the most important part for this season, is getting promoted. And free agency has worked wonders again. Sam Silvera, former Central Coast Mariner, gone to Portsmouth, now a free agent, will be joining us as our new right midfielder. I want to use him almost as a bridge between now and Iran Kunda. It's no secret I want to sign Iran Kunda. Silvera will be our bridge. I'm on the search for a new striker. We could have kept Qual, but I've elected to go for somebody that once I realized I could go for him, it was a no-brainer. It is the former Western Sydney Wanderer, Zach Sapsford, absolutely killing it in Scotland right now. He comes home. Luckily, our budget is pretty decent this year, so I don't have to sell too many players to help finance. I'm focused mainly on the loans right now. So we will be sending Aiden Hammond on a 2-year loan spell to Saudi Arabia. Sam Klein on a year-long spell to Hull. Alex Gersbach, I'm planning on him being the only permanent departure this year. Whilst the young striker Awan Lawal will be going on loan. He's not Australian, but again, it's a situation where we can get some growth out of him and get a better transfer fee down the line. To be honest, I'll probably will sell him after this 2-year spell at Fleetwood. We've definitely paid overs here, but it's for a player that I knew I wanted to sign coming into this one. If there's one area that I'm really optimistic about in Australian football, it is our defense. Alessandro Cesari, who who I plan on signing at some point in this video is one of the key players, but the other one, the most raw talent out of them, I've said raw talent a lot, is going to be Dylan Leonard, the youngster joining Schalke in real life. We've activated his release clause, 2.85 mil right now, but it's going to be priceless down the line. And purely for squad depth purposes, we are going to sign Quinn McNichol as a backup attacking midfielder from Brisbane. This team is a million times better. Damn, Barello's even gone up. I did not expect that, but this team is a million times better than what we were operating with last year. And I think it is incredibly reasonable to be pushing for promotion with the Western Sydney Wanderers and Australia. And to be honest, it is incredibly important that we get promoted this year, because if we want to help shape some of the current crop while dynamic player potential can still do its thing, we need to get them in as soon as possible. If we don't, I might need to start shifting my thinking. Come on! Alright, this is good. This is good. We have been promoted to the championship. Just 4 losses all year. 21 points clear of the playoffs. Champions of League One with the Wanderers. Who's heading down to League Two? Going to be 2 divisions between us, Rotherham, Shrewsbury, Doncaster, and Walsall. Man City win the FA Cup. We went out in the 4th round to Birmingham. Arsenal win the Carabao. Eesh, 2nd round exit there. I thought we would have been a genuine shot in the Virtu Trophy this year. I mean, technically we would be, the highest ranked team in that tournament. Blackpool win that. Where did we go out? God damn, we went out to Charlton in the 3rd round. Sucked in though, Charlton. They have lost the player final. Sheffield Wednesday will be joining us in the championship. Some positives and negatives to unpack now though. Let's start with the positives. Our strikers have absolutely gone off. Brandon Barello, I'm probably going to have to look at upgrading him next year, but he's going to help increase his price. Zach Sapsford though, what a year for the boy. Up 5 overall, 33 goal contributions. Everybody's growing, bro. Thurgate up to a 75. Robertson to a 75. The youngster Scott to a 73. Klein on his loan goes up +3. Tatu coming back as a 68 overall. Hammond goes up to a 63. Rose goes up to a 61. Gonna have an interesting decision to make though. Silvera's at a 70. What's Grimaldi at? Grimaldi's at a 71. Honestly, I would probably look to loan out Tatu again. Abdul Rahman to a 60, Lual up to a 59, and Mewett up to a 60. But for the L, our captain, the absolute beast of Anthony Pantanzopoulos, is walking away on a free. I wanted to re-sign him, but he refused to sign a new contract. We're going to have to fill his gap next season. He is heading to Rangers. We're in the championship. That has opened up the entire world of transfers. And I'm going in for a guy I said I wanted to sign from the jump. We can now get him. Look, we're going to make sure we don't get relegated back to League One. I don't think that'll be the fate, but I need to make certain of it. Again, quality over quantity, and we are spending a large percentage of our transfer budget bringing in Alessandro Sassati. God, I hope he turns out to be a superstar. We really need it. I want an Australian to be a superstar on the world stage again. But for now, he is a wanderer, joining us for £5.5 million. I'm gonna make a big call here. Angus Thurgate progressing really nicely, but I want to cash in. Again, we've got to think about the future. He's not going to win a Champions League with us, or probably get much higher than 75 overall. And for the signings we want to make, £6 million is really going to help. And look, to be honest, so is selling Brandon Barello. I'm going to move to a 1-striker formation. I want Zach Sapsford to be the man. We're going to cash in on Brandon Barello, sending him to Bristol City. Couple of loan moves as well. Another 2-year loan for Abdul Rahman. And the same deal with Gyros, off to Philly. All right, boys, there's been a lot of hoopla. I've been doing a lot of offline work here. I've had to change my plan for the season, and I'm not too pumped about it. The good thing is we still have a lot of money in the back of the pocket. Going in for a new left midfielder, Segicic. He's a good player, but he's not as high of a player that I wanted. 70 overall. I mean, we paid £3 million for him. As you can see, my original plan was I wanted to go in for Jordi Bols. We paid 10 mil, but ran out of finances for the contract. And unfortunately, Monza swept in and got him. Then I tried for an audacious one for Iran Kunda, which I sent like 9 million or 10 million, and Watford straight up wanted 20 mil, so that wasn't going to work. So we've signed Segicic for 3 mil, and I think we'll roll with the squad we've got and check back in January. Still about £6 million in our budget. I've changed to a 3-4-3 formation. I wanted to get Tatu involved nice and early, so I've converted him to a left winger. Silvera goes to a right winger. Grimaldi goes to right mid. Segicic in here. Still converting Scott and Robertson to centre midfielders. Also, can I just point out, Beach has been flying under the radar. I swear I barely paid attention to him, and the next minute he's 79 overall. But for me, I just hope we're not in the relegation battle on the 1st of January. Oh, this was the position I did not want to be in, and it's similar to season 1 where the draws are killing us. We sit 3 points ahead of Luton Town in this relegation battle. Sheffield Wednesday having a stinker. But bro, we are in the relegation fight. If we can get a good run of form, we will get ourselves solid mid-table. But for now, it's a little concerning. And after the money that I've had to spend renewing contracts, we got about 4 million to work with, so I'm uncertain whether I'll upgrade in the starting 11 or just try to fill out the squad. And I've decided to continue investing in the squad, bringing some more lads over from the A-League. Hayne Eames, young centre midfielder from the Mariners, along with Melbourne City's Maiden Mehmeti, 1.7 mil. I'm going to look to get both of these lads alone. And here we go, first one for Mehmeti. He had a lot of suitors, so I don't actually know where he's going. Okay, Birmingham City. I thought he was going to be teammates with Messi there. Miami wanted him. Whilst Eames is going to be spending just 6 months on loan at Swansea. All right, we're stayed up. I guess that's all I can ask for. 8 points clear of Derby, but bro, we need to focus on the draws next year. I've got to make some big moves. I think I'm going to go all in, honestly, for Iran Kunda next year. That might, depending on our budget, be our only bit of business, but right now, I'm just happy to still be here. We do have some serious work, though, if we want to get ourselves up to the Premier League. We are nowhere near the level of Burnley, Brentford, these teams. Liverpool do win the FA Cup. We went out to Everton on penalties in the 4th round, which is kind of a nice sight. Liverpool win the Carabao. First round exit there. Penalties have not been our friend, but it will be Ipswich up in the Premier League next year. Angus Thurgate goes to the Premier League before we do. Zach Sapsford getting it done though in the Championship. Very happy with how he's progressing. Bro, I'm not sure if we really need dynamic player potential to be working on him though. I might have to start thinking about getting some young strikers through the youth academy or free agency. Good first year for Segicic, +4, but I'm a little worried about his age. I'm not, however, worried about the age of Tatu, +6. We made the right call making him a left winger. Aiden Hammond goes up +1. Eames goes up +2. Rose +2. Lowell +2. Probably just going to get rid of him though. Mehmeti, everyone's gone up +2 except for Abdul Rahman basically. But Patrick Beach becomes the first player in the squad to enter the 80s. Given I was so nervous about the future of the goalkeeper role, this is awesome. Bridging the gap between being a team that tries to avoid relegation and one that pushes for the Premier League, though, is going to be tough. Let's see if we can get a little closer in Season 4. All right, lads, I want Iran Kunda, but we're going to have to cash in on some players. Sell big time if we want to do that. We need the money. Dylan Cicluna, selling him for 2 mil, as well as saying goodbye to Philip Kankar. He heads to Turkey for £1.5 million. Harry Eames is going to spend the year in Miami. And yeah, naturally, it makes sense for us to sell Sam Silvera, given he's going to be the one getting replaced. 2.5 mil for him. Jesse Cameron's out. Not a huge amount of money, but he's not a great prospect. And ironically, we have sold Alu Kual to Watford, so I'm hoping he can put in a good word with Iran Kunda. Selling him there for 1.8 mil. Bang! There it is, lads. We have got Iran Kunda. I have had to wheel and deal with Watford to get this one over the line. I threw a fat 25% sell-on clause here. But the good thing is I don't intend on selling Iran Kunda if everything goes to plan. But we have finally brought our North Star signing into the club. The man that I came into this video knowing that we desperately needed in our club. Nesteri Iran Kunda, the best prospect in Australian football at the moment, joining us at the Western Sydney Wanderers. I would love if this would happen in real life. But to be fair, actually not. Unless he's like 35, I don't necessarily want that to happen, actually. I want him to have a good career in Europe. A default right midfielder, we're going to convert him to a right winger. The nice thing as well, if things don't work out with Sapsford, we could convert him to a striker. So it's good to have options. Already gone up to a 78 in like the 3 weeks it took to convert him to a right winger, and converting him to a right winger sends him to a 79. Iran Kunda, I am so happy to have you here, mate. But this is what the squad is looking like as we enter year 4, our second in the championship on this path to make Australia the world's best footballing nation. The outline is there. Some players are absolutely looking like superstars. Beach and 82. Oh, let's see what this year has in store. Oh, you are joking. You are joking. We miss out on the playoffs on goal difference. Same points as Leicester. They scored 8 more goals better this year. We actually scored more goals than them. We just conceded a boatload. Oh, Oh man, oh man, oh man. We have missed out on the playoffs by the skin of our teeth. Southampton and Leeds go up. Oh, bro. That's annoying as hell. Peterborough, Blackburn, Portsmouth go down. All I wanted was just to sneak into the playoffs. I want us to do something at least in one of the cups. I want there to be a silver lining from this year. FA Cup goes to Liverpool. We went out to Bristol in the 4th round. Man City win the Carabao. I think the Carabao Cup might be cursed for us Aussies. Whilst Norwich go up. I was kind of hoping Leicester went up. That would make me feel a lot better. What a year though for Tatu. This dude is a beast. Him and Iran Kunda are the two guarantees I feel like to be around at the end of this. Iran Kunda up to an 82, Sapsford up to a 78. No wonder we had such a good second half of the year. I can't lie though, fellas, I'm a little nervous about Josip Scott. He still has time on his side, but he is only 74 overall. He's been hanging around this marker for a very long time. Patrick Beach up to an 83 and Sasadi up to an 81. So many of our players are in great positions and others are in really, really weird ones. But we will be saying goodbye to Nathan Barry at the end of the year, refusing to sign a new contract. Boys, we need to get promoted this year. We need the money that comes with being in the Premier League and we need the progression. So I'm going to make some big moves here in search of one signing. This might be a hint of what direction I'm heading, but Matthew Grimaldi, the left midfielder, has been sold. Well, I think the final non-Australian player on our squad is heading to Saudi. Hayne Eames is heading on a 2-year loan. The only loan I want to do this year. I'm hoping selling this guy is going to mean we have enough money to go in for the guy we want. Aiden Hammond also being sold to the Saudi League. Even Lucho's come to see if we can sign this fella. There we go. I feel like I've tried to sign him every year for the past 3 years. We finally get him. I'm a little annoyed we didn't get him earlier because I wanted to give him more time to get dynamic play potential into him. But we have finally been able to sign Jordi Bos, the left back, formerly of Melbourne City and Feyenoord. We've brought him to the Wanderers. He's 26 years of age. I would have loved to get him a few years earlier, but we signed him for 15 mil from Monza. However, with the formation that we have and continue to have, I want to play him at the left midfield role, which is going to take 6 weeks to achieve. And then Segacic, I will be throwing on the right-hand side of the midfield. And after selling so many players, I'm going to make a pretty decent squad depth signing, to be fair. It's going to be Hayden Matthews. Pretty sure he went to high school in my area. Shout out the Shire. Hayden Matthews joining us, the former Sydney FC and Endeavour High School kid and Portsmouth player, signing on here at the Wanderers. For me now, though, I really want us to focus on the future. I think I have found the best players I can that already exist from Australia. I would have liked to have a better rated youth scout, but we can't afford to get like a 5-star, 5-star, even like a 3-star, 3-star. So for now, Chadwick, 1-star, 1-star. Not too promising, but I'm going to send him on the mission. If we can find 1 or 2 players from this mission, that would be good. But I really want to put more of a focus moving forward on the youth academy. I would have done it earlier in the video, but we just didn't have the finances to allocate to it. We had to put our priorities elsewhere. But for now, I need to start thinking about what if we don't win it in the next 5 or 6 years. And for me, I want us looking everywhere. I'm going to go center back, center mid, and striker. Like I said, 1-star, 1-star. I'll probably look to sign somebody at the start of next year, hopefully in the Premier League. But for now, we'll see what we can find. I'm really glad though that Scott has gone up 1 overall. Like, his age and overall is in a really good spot, but the matter of fact is he isn't growing all that much. May need to think about putting some priorities on the center midfield role in the future. Center back, we're definitely going to need to get our next generation in if we can't replace Bonatic. But bro, for now, if this team isn't in the promotion picture with Iran Kunda, Tatu, Boss coming in, Beach, one of the best goalkeepers rather in Australian football at this point, then we will be in a terrible spot. We need to get to the Premier League this year. Oh, Jesus. I think I need to be making more of a priority to get ourselves a good youth academy scout. The first report comes back and he only gives us 2 players and he gives us 2 absolute lemons. Mason Chadwick. Holy hell, brother. Oh, 5. Bro, we've had an insane season. We get only 5 losses all year. The second most goals in the entire league. But we finish 5 points behind Leicester. We get 90. Imagine getting 95 points and not getting automatic promotion. We are heading to the playoffs. We are the highest ranked team into the playoffs. But knowing the Western Sydney Wanderers, besides the Asian Champions League in 2014, we are horrible when it comes to playoff football. A look around the grounds before we look at the championship playoffs. Man City win the FA Cup. Damn, we actually beat Newcastle in the 3rd round before going out to Bournemouth on penalties in the 4th round. That gives me a lot of confidence. Chelsea win the Carabao. We actually made it to the quarterfinals there where we lost to Manchester City. Got some big scalps along the way, most notably a 3-1 win over Bournemouth. This is the big one. one though. We have beaten Wrexham in the semi-finals of the Championship playoffs. So if we can beat Coventry, we will be going to the Premier League with the Western Sydney Wanderers, which is a crazy sentence to say. Are we going there with the mighty Western Sydney Wanderers? Yes, we are. A demolition job over Coventry in the playoff final. The Western Sydney Wanderers, with all Australians, are heading to the big time of the Premier League. Oh, I would have been so upset if we hadn't, but bro, look at this front three. Iran Kunda, are you taking the piss? 42 goals, up to an 86 overall. Sapsford, 29 goals to an 81. And Amlani Tatu, the two Adelaide United boys, are doing a job for us on the wing. Segicic goes up +3. Scott goes up +2, which is a good step in the right direction. Everybody growing. Damn, and Bonitic goes up to a 79. I still don't think he's going to be a player that we can win a Champions League with, but he is progressing way better than I expected. We will be saying goodbye, though, to Tristan Zidikovic, who is walking away to the Saudi League on a free contract. Oh, also, when it comes to our academy, I only found 2 players that look half decent here. And when I say half decent, I mean 82 potential and 77 potential. They're both super young. Bro, Lucho's just going ham on that door, but he didn't like the look at this youth academy either. Here's to hoping that Premier League money comes in by the boatload and we can actually do whatever the hell we want. We're in the Premier League and we've got that Premier League money, £52 million. You can bet your bottom dollar I am heading straight to the scouts. Please have somebody that's 5-star, 5-star. There we go. 5-star, 4-star will be close enough. Nicolas Vial, I'll look for a 5-star, 5-star in the future, but this is a huge upgrade. And to be totally honest, I am going to be focused solely on center midfielders for the next 6 months. That is the position I am the most nervous about, so we're going to go for that. See how we're at that point. Probably go for a striker after that if Zach Sapsford doesn't get... Like, his age is the only thing that makes me nervous, but for now, center midfielder, priority number 1. And you know what? After doing such a piss weak job, I don't think Chadwick deserves to have employment. Go line up at Centrelink, brother. Mason Chadwick, you're fired. And now here's the thing. I have a short list of players. I could go in for somebody like Lucas Harrington, who's playing at Las Palmas right now. But I'll tell you why I'm not going to do that right now. That's because his potential is 80 to 86. If we leave it a couple years, he's likely going to get to that point. I don't necessarily think we need to interrupt it. So I would rather focus on other positions and try to turn the guys that have potential from like 73 to 80 up to that point. Really try to develop the diamonds in the rough. I do feel like this is going to be the type of video where we're kind of just hanging about for a couple of years, where we maybe finish 10th every single year, and then everything falls into place and we go and win a Champions League 2 years later. But our first signing in the Premier League era is going to be for a regen striker, Jaden Wilkinson, 69 overall. Again, another option if something doesn't go to plan with Sapsford. I wanted to bring Anthony Pantanzopoulos back to the club though. He's 27, 81 overall, killing it at Rangers. But I don't think I can bring him back given the settings of the career mode. Unless he leaves Rangers. That is so annoying. Of course, the position where we're most secure in goalkeeper is where we find a new prospect. But I will be bringing this guy in from FC Andorra. Could be a succession plan. You can never have too many options. Gabriel Coveney joining us. And I mean, you know he's decent when Liverpool's coming in for him. £55 million. Oh, that would be really nice if that happened in real life, if we could have a goalkeeper this good. Another potential diamond in the rough coming into the squad though. 22 years of age, 70 overall, Nicholas Alfaro from Sydney FC. Let's see what we can make out of his career. The loan moves will be coming in though, at a really weird point of the rebuild right now. Gabriel Coveney, 2 years in France. Jaden Wilkinson heading on loan to Birmingham for 2 years. A year on loan at Getafe for Mehmeti. He could honestly be the succession plan, I can't lie. And there we go, the new man from Sydney FC, Nicholas Alfaro, a year at Burnley. It is ironic though. I feel like the entirety of this video I've been nickel and diming trying to get the best players possible. And then as soon as we make it to the Premier League, there is nobody that's worth getting into our squad. So we got a lot of money, but we're going to view it as an opportunity to invest in the infrastructure of the club a lot more. Get the best coaches in the world, best youth academy. Turn this into an operation that is just churning out Australian talent. I'm going to make some squad depth signings, and I almost feel sad saying this guy is a squad depth player. If I made this video 2-3 years ago, he would have been what Iran Kunda is now, which makes me sad and also scared that Iran Kunda is going to go down a similar path. But it will be Garang Kuol, former Newcastle United man. Garang Kuol will be joining us as a backup option. He will be joining us from Sparta Prague for 4 mil. And a former Western Sydney Wanderer in Marcus Eunice will be joining us as a backup right wing option. I am praying absolutely praying that we are nowhere near the relegation battle. I want us to be mid-table or higher from the jump. I'm not going to expect us to be in the Champions League, although with Iran Kunda, Tartu, Sapsford now on 82, anything could happen, but realistically, probably not. Big year though for Scott, up to a 77, which is nice, but we need him pushing the 80s as soon as possible. Honestly, Robertson might be an issue as well. I could maybe convert Segicic to an 80, to a attacking midfielder, convert Scott back to a defensive midfielder, change up the formation. We have options, but I want really good options. Look at the difference in scouts as well. Our first scout with Vial, he brings back 10 players and already some decent prospects, and we have a Cahill. Oh, we've got a Cahill. Maybe we could get the next Tim Cahill. But yeah, this Jake Clark looks really good as well. I will let you guys know if I promote anybody to the senior team. Luca McMaster looks like a decent prospect. We are in a good spot right now. All right, we are in the relegation battle, but we are clear of it right now. 21 points, sitting 14th. Brentford are on 17th. Luckily, Leicester and Leeds are having a stinker, so it's really that last spot we have to be worried about for now. And the academy has got some good players for us. Honestly, all the ones that are 17, I'm just going to get them in, like 16 or 17, I'm just going to get them into the squad and try to get loan moves for them. People like Jackson Wood, McMaster. McMaster's probably the one. It's 87 and 94 potential. I need to get these guys into the senior team and out on loan. But then guys like Neil Brady and Louis Cahill, I'm not going to let them in. 72 potential, not much to work with. And the nice thing is some of them already have the showing great potential signs. That is a lot to work with. McMaster has the potential to be special. All right, fingers crossed one of these guys can be our answer. Scott is up to a 78 though, which is quite nice. And we have found ourselves a 5-star scout. It's only a slight upgrade, but it is an upgrade nonetheless. Fortunately, money isn't a huge issue for us right now. That might change in the future, but for now, we're going to make it work while we can. I'm going to be going in for a new striker at the back end of the season. I want to be really focused on certain positions on 6-month spells. New striker if Sapsford doesn't work out. Not going to show you every single loan because that will be repetitive, but just know every guy that I try bringing in every guy that I bring in from the youth academy will be going out on loan. I'll be looking for 2-year loan spells all around the park, and hopefully some of them can rise to the top. All right, we have pulled it together in the back half of the year. We had a very, very good last month of the season, and we have survived with the Western Sydney Wanderers. The Wanderers finishing a point behind Tottenham is a great reality for me to be in. 44 points, 11 points clear of Wolves, who go down alongside Leeds and Leicester. We need to start looking up the table, though. Put the relegation battle in our rearview mirror. Top of the table, though, is going to be Man City winning on goal difference. FA Cup goes to Tottenham. Unfortunately, we had a disaster and went out to Brighton. And Brighton did win the Carabao Cup on penalties. We lost to them in the semi-finals. Oh, that could have been so nice if we'd won the Europa League and got some sort of European football. Speaking of European football, PSG win the Champions League, Ajax win the Europa League, and the Conference League goes to Union Berlin. Our front three, they could get it done in the Championship, and now they prove they can get it done in the Premier League. Sapsford getting up to an 84. Oh, we might actually be sweet at the striker role. Iran Kunda at an 89. Tardu at an 85. I'm not worried about the wing spots at all. Segicic an 84. Robertson up to an 80. I am a little worried. Scott up to a 78. Yeah, still worried about centre midfield. Bonneting continues to grow though, up to an 81. And again, Leonard slowly getting there. Aiden Simmons will be the latest name to walk away on a free transfer. Honestly, Eames coming back next year. He might be a good shout at the centre midfield role, up to a 75 overall. And I will be bringing a whole host of striker and centre midfield prospects into the senior team next season, trying to get them loan moves. I'm going to make a massive call that might hinder us short term. I'm going to sell Alex Robertson to Villarreal. 22 million pounds. He's 28 years of age, 80 overall, a good player, but he's not going to get to like the 85 marker. He would have to have a crazy resurgence for that to happen. We can always bring him back. Instead, what I'm going to do is give Hayne Eames the starting centre midfield role alongside Scott. We've got all these guys off on loan still, so hopefully one of them can come back and be a great option. McMaster, rather. He's looking like the best option at the moment, but we'll see how it pans out. I'm giving Hayne Eames a season. I've also found this guy here, Scott Duggan, who is at Newcastle United. Has the potential to be special, potential between 87 and 93, 16 years of age. I'm almost tempted to bring him in and get him loan time because I'm nervous that he's just going to sit on the bench and rot at Newcastle United. I will keep an eye on that though. Maybe next season or in January, if he's not growing, look to bring him in so he can get some growth because he looks like an absolute weapon. And on a similar note, I'm probably going to go in for Lucas Harrington next year. I don't want to take too much of a step back this year. I'm going to give Lucas Harrington, who's currently 76, one more year at Las Palmas. Hopefully he can go up to like a 78 or a 79 overall. Then I'll definitely bring him in. But this year's probably going to be low action again, just trying to build up the stocks. I'm almost not worried about the front three. Like Sapsford, yes, he's 29. We've got prospects in the pipeline. I'm kind of worried, but also not stressed about the defense because we have options there as well. The midfield has me so scared, though. Center midfields have me so scared, bro. Parts of this team could win a Champions League and a World Cup. Other parts of it couldn't even get out of the championship. This is going to be a very interesting year. It's just a season of progress. I mean, I'm okay with that. We're slowly climbing our way up. 9th in the Premier League. I think next year, though, I had a little look at what Iran Kunda's overall is. We need to get European football with him before he gets into his prime. We finished 9th in the Prem with the Wanderers, 56 points, just outside of the Champions League. Arsenal win the league. Newcastle, where that young striker is, they finish 4th. Going down are going to be Fulham, Southampton, and Norwich. My 2 teams were in the same league, but now it's only going to be 1. Tottenham win the FA Cup. We did nothing there this year. Tottenham also win the Carabao Cup. Fair play. We lost to Liverpool on penalties. Man City win the Champions League. The Europa League goes to PSV over Newcastle, whilst Eintracht Frankfurt win the Conference League. Oh, that's actually a little disappointing. The front three hasn't done as well. Tartu's had a very good year. He's 86. Sapsford's up to an 86. We need to keep him at this level for as long as possible. We have probably 2 more years of growth out of Sapsford before he starts going down, so I want to see how high we can get him. But I do like that the rest of the squad is sharing the wealth. Eames up to a 78, which is very, very important. How about Scott? Up to a 79. Leonard up to an 81. Bonatig, maybe we pull the trigger on Harrington next year. And bro, we have just got striker prospects coming out the arse, Coveney up to a 77. Sorry, I think I said striker, I meant goalkeeper. Talking about strikers though, Wilkinson goes to a 72 on loan. Mehmeti, I'll probably just bring him back as a backup next year. Yeah, the midfielders aren't doing anything insane. I mean, they're getting progress. McMaster up to a 72, which is really nice. But again, all these guys, I'm just going to continue loading them out behind the scenes. Just out of curiosity, okay, Duggan is at a 66. He's still at Newcastle, but he's getting that's a +4 growth for him. Honestly, I might try just going in for him next year. Harrington, 78. I think we're going to have to bridge the gap at centre back. All right, boys, it's time. I think I've been playing around with it long enough. It is now time to blood Lucas Harrington. Las Palmas has got him to this point. Now we will take over. We will do the rest of the work to make him a living Australian legend. And I'm hoping one day win a Champions League with Lucas Harrington as a star in our back line. We've overpaid, but we have the money to do so. I just wanted to make sure we got him in. 78 overall at 24. On the same token, it is time to bring in the wonder kid striker Scott Duggan, 2.5 mil from Newcastle, our succession plan for Zach Sapsford. And look, Jordy Bolts is 29 years of age. We have probably 1 or 2 more years of growth out of him before he starts to go down. So we need to think about the future of the left midfield position. I'm going to bring in 69 overall 19-year-old Stefan Wood from the Polish league. Also, just to confirm, Wood and Duggan were both Australians. I've also found this free agent center midfielder, Jacob Esposito, who could be a option at the center midfield role. Again, all 3 of these last guys that I've signed, I plan on loaning out, but I'm going to bring them in, and it's good. I'm happy that we at least have some options. We've got a lot of work to do, both on the selling and loaning front. To make way for Harrington, Alex Bonatig, we are going to sell him, but we're going to sell him to a European juggernaut. There could be worse fates, but for the most part now, it's about loaning out the youngsters. Jaden Wilkinson, 2 years in Poland. Tommy Antonis, 2 years in Portland. This is the big one though. Scott Duggan, a year in Cardiff. I'm so interested to see his development. I am nervous though, fellas. Iran Kunda submitted a transfer request. His contract is happy. I can't get him off the list. I mean, I'm willing to negotiate a new contract. He doesn't want to right now though. Every single thing below is green except for player performance. He's very happy. I don't know why he wants out, but we basically have a race against the clock now with Iran Kunda to win the league, to win the Champions League with him in the next 3 years. I will update you guys if we are able to change that situation, but for now we have more loans to take care of. Jacob Esposito's heading to Leicester for the year. Stefan Wood's heading to Coventry. And by the time Gabriel Convoy gets back from this loan at Genoa, he should comfortably be in the 80s. So this is the team we have. Our front 3, good enough to win any trophy on planet Earth. Our midfield, catching up. The big question marks remain around the centre back and the centre midfield roles though. Big year for Eames and Scott. But I think so far we have done a remarkable job with Australian football. No way! Oh my God. We have won the Premier League title with the Western Sydney Wanderers. The goal for me this year, damn, that was a close one. A point ahead of Arsenal, 2 ahead of Newcastle. My goal is just to get top 4. We have exceeded that. We have won the Premier League in a record low scoring season. 74 points does not win you a Premier League title too often. God damn, boys. Not only are we heading to the Champions League, we are going there as English champions. Oh my God. Who got relegated? It's Palace, Leeds, and Swansea. Everton did win the FA Cup. We went out in the quarterfinals to Newcastle. Hey, Fulham have won the Carabao Cup, and that is who beat us in the 4th round. So conflicting for me. But we are into the Champions League next year. Real Madrid win it this year. Milan win the Europa League, and the Conference League goes to Chelsea. Amlani Tatu is the hero for us. He is our star player. 31 goal contributions in this Premier League winning season. Zapsford's up to an 89. Oh my God. Iran Kunda up to a 93. Hayne Eames up to an 82. And Scott goes +1 to an 80. But 82 +4 for Hayne Eames. Oh, that is actually a huge relief. Did anybody go insane on loan? Moss +2. Tommy Antonis +2. Esposito +1. That's annoying. Stefan Wood +2. How about the big dog? How about the striker? Wilkinson +1. Brownlee +2. Scott Duggan +4. We might not need him, but that is a good step in the right direction. A few men leaving us at the end of the season, though. Ricky Franson and Marcus Eunice unwilling to renew their contracts. And I'm confused why it gives me an option to renew Jordan Holmes' contract when he's retiring at the end of the season. But it feels like we've turned a new leaf with Eames getting the growth and us winning the Premier League. I cannot wait for season number 9. Boys, we have got, where was this money? If this money was with us at the start of the career mode, I think we would have won a Champions League by now. Dynamic player potential would have worked way earlier, but we have £150 million. And we have basically every half decent or above Australian in the world right now. We have a couple of gaps to fill after the players leaving last year, so I'm going to go sign probably the only half decent players still in the world. Most importantly is going to be goalkeeper. We are blessed in that position right now. We got the guy on loan. We got Beach, who is a world-class goalkeeper. And now we're going to get the guy that I almost signed at the start of the career mode. It was between this guy and Beach. It is going to be Dylan Parake Cullen joining us from Werder Bremen. Daniel Benny will be joining us as a utility midfielder and attacker. And when you're playing a 3 at the back formation, you can never have too many centre backs. Panagiatos Kikianis joining us from Norwich. Look, I would love at some point in the video to re-sign Anthony Panagiopoulos or Alex Bonatig, but right now both of them are transfer restricted. I'm shocked that he is still at Rangers. He's been there for almost half a decade. Only going to be selling one player for this season. We haven't really needed him for a long time. It's the left back, Ben Mewett. Same old with the loans though. Going to be working on those behind the scenes. Jake Clark kicking things off. We do have an opportunity though for some early season silverware off to Wembley for the Community Shield. This would be a good omen. Can the Aussies get the job done here? Can we win ourselves our second piece of silverware? Yes, we do! A 2-0 lead. They get a goal back. Sekic and Eames are the goal scorers. Wanderers win the Community Shield. You would have seen a lot of the starting 11 when we had the Community Shield, but dude, this team is looking so good. Except for like Scott and Harrington, this team is basically good to go. Again, we're going to have to rely heavily on the front 3, but we are progressing brilliantly. The depth is there. Oh, is it going to be a one and done year in the Champions League? Let's go find out. Let's go see who we're versing. We are one of the lowest ranked teams in the Champions League. And our campaign, we're going to be versing Bonatig at the Signal Iduna Park, the Wanderers versus Borussia Dortmund in September. For that, where we host Sparta Prague, we have the advantage. They have to come to Western Sydney. October, we travel to Milan. November, we host Valencia. And then travel to Milan again. That would have made more sense for us to just do back-to-back games there. UEFA make us want to get those frequent flyer miles up. We need a good run. Okay, December. That's actually a good one. La Riviere. And then it ends hosting Monaco. Oh my God. And then hosting Real Madrid. This is really a roller coaster of a campaign. Dortmund, Madrid, and both Milan teams make things very, very difficult. It's a miracle! Iran Kunda is open for new contract talks. Oh my God, I'm going to offer him the farm. We have money to burn. I am literally going to offer him £1 million a week because we need him desperately. £1 million a week. Oh, and he wants a damn release clause. Oh my god, now I have to negotiate it. Like, we've got 123 million in the budget. I'm gonna offer him a 3-year extension just in case some crap like that happens again. We need to make sure he stays at the club. There you go, Iran Kunda. Make you one of the highest paid players, if not the highest paid player in football history. I'm not sure what Ronaldo's Al Nassr deal was like, but we finally get him to a new contract, which means we can finally take him off the transfer, whatever. At least we extend the contract so he has to stay. This is good. This is good. We finish 7th in the Champions League, which means we automatically go through. That is a huge confidence booster. Didn't know what to expect with this first year. Newcastle, Marseille, Feyenoord and Wolfsburg. First and second undefeated is crazy, bro. There are a lot of big teams not in the top 8. But we get to skip the playoffs and we will wait and see who our opponents are going to be. We're also doing well so far on our quest to go back-to-back in the Premier League. Currently sitting second, but we're inside the top 4. It's still a lot of football to be played and a lot of teams down our neck, but the fact we are second is good. And well, the answer is going to be Inter Milan. Verse them in league phase play. Now we get to verse them again in the round of 16. How did we go against them? Okay, we beat them in November 2-1. I would love for that to happen again. We start off at the San Siro. Eames has gone up to an 85. Dude, this team is coming together brilliantly. Eames is up to an 85 away at the San Siro for the first leg. Come on, Wanderers. Come on, Wanderers. We do one better. Segacic is going to get himself a hat trick. Funnily enough, the goal scorer for Inter Milan is the same reaction I had in my head because we go bang. Nothing silly, fellas. Scoreless draw would work. 1 goal for Milan, 3 for us. I went to say 1 goal lead. It's a 2-goal lead. And holy hell, if Segacic was the hero in the first leg, Tartu made it about him this time. 3-0. We have beaten Inter Milan 6-1 on aggregate. That is unreal. Okay, quarterfinals. Normally, I'd be really optimistic about versing Wolfsburg, but the fact that they didn't lose a game in league phase play, and they drew and won, so they haven't lost a game all season. This will be a terrific test. Away in Germany for the first leg against Wolfsburg. Can we get the job done? Yes, we do! Boss and Tartu. Oh, I feel good. I feel great, actually. We hand Wolfsburg their first loss of the year in the Champions League, and we do it in great fashion. Oh, don't bottle it, lads. Sapsford got a yellow card last time, so I'm worried about him getting suspended, but let's just get ourselves through to the semi-finals and with a striking chance of getting into a Champions League final. We lose it, but we hang on by aggregate. Scott gets a yellow card. Harrington is the goal scorer, which ultimately sends us to a Champions League semi-final. That is crazy. All right, semi-finals. There are only juggernauts left. We are going to be heading back to Germany. Western Sydney Wanderers, the Australian-only side, versus Bayern Munich. Oh, we've been so good to start, but again, I'm nervous about this one. Tartu goes up to a 92. All right, here goes nothing, lads. Bayern Munich versus Western Sydney. 0-0 draw. Okay, scoreless. It looks like we, barely dominated, but Kukurea with a straight red card in the 75th minute. He is going to be out as we head to Parramatta. Oh my God. Come on, lads. Oh, why have I actually got a pit in my stomach? This rebuild has been such a grind. If we can get ourselves in the shop window to get a Champions League, that I'm not gonna miss. I will not miss. We win it on pens. Get in there. Geraint Qual scores 1. Olise got a red card. Bayern Munich, their own worst enemies. Oh my God, we are into a Champions League final. We are into a Champions League final. Are we versing AC Milan or Real Madrid? Oh my God. Come on, Australia. Come on, Western Sydney. All right, here's the answer. Western Sydney Wanderers versus Real Madrid in the 2034 Champions League final. A Merseyside derby. Wow. Merseyside derby in the Europa League final, which Liverpool win. Lille win the Conference League. And we haven't gone back to back, but right now I do not care because we are going back to the Champions League next year. We score, that's actually really annoying because we score our most amount of goals. We scored more than last year, but we concede more than last year and get less points. That's frustrating. Heading back to the Champions League though, Man City win the league, just edging out Arsenal, who got relegated. It is Norwich, West Ham and Leicester. Liverpool did win the FA Cup. We went out in the semi-finals. Whilst Man City win the Carabao Cup, where'd we go out that? We did not do anything in that tournament this year. Went out to Leeds. Bloody hell, Tartu is a beast. Oh my God. I'd only heard about this guy. This guy only existed in my mind in the past couple of weeks with his A-League debut. He has turned into a superstar. Him, Zach Sapsford, and Iran Kunda. God damn, one of the best front threes in footballing history, and they all play for Australia. That would be nice if that could eventuate into real life. Eames up to an 85. I cannot wait to use this squad. McMaster has gone up to a 78. If we don't win the Champions League this year, well, Scott's had a good year, but McMaster's looking like an absolute prospect. Boys, I'm anxious about this game. I'm going through a bit of shit in my personal life, so I think I have just a constant pit of despair in my stomach, but this Champions League final is not helping that at all. Let's go first, Real Madrid. I cannot get the ball off Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham, that's a good block from Eames. They go for the long shot and force a great save out of Beach. Why are we sitting so deep? There is no way Beach has saved that. Oh my God. They played the through ball and I thought we were done for. I need to see a replay of this. I couldn't make the tackle, but that is a great save. No. Oh my God, bro. I can't get the ball off Real Madrid. Go on, Scott. Counterattacks where we're going to do our best work with so many midfielders. Iran Kunda trying to get it across. We get it across. That was our opportunity. Oh my God. That's the first time we've been in Real Madrid's half. We do have the corner here though. Iran Kunda is going to be the man to put it in. Goes to Cyrus. Where does that come from? Alessandro with the bicycle kick. Good block. Harrington, that is a huge block. Can we get something on the counterattack here before halftime? Segicic is running up the guts. I want to get it perfectly to Sapsford like that. Goes. Oh my God. Boss is just... Oh my God. That is one of the most the most remarkable assists ever. Geordie Boss, I went to play a through ball to Tatu. Basically just chipped it to myself. I can't wait to see the replay of this. That is unbelievable. We had it there. I just chipped it through past Weeson. Geordie Boss gets us the lead on the counter-attack before halftime. That is the ultimate act of deception. Good tap, bro. Our defense has been clutching it up. Go on, Sapsford. Through to Iran Kunda. He's got pace to burn, bro. He's got pace to burn. Iran Kunda misses. And I had the sweaty goal opening up as well. Oh, that's so bad from me. I could have sweated to Tatu. Bro, we are sitting so deep. They play it through Beach. I love you. Beach has to get man of the match, even if we lose this. God damn, bro. That's the way we concede? That is the way we concede? Vinny off the bench. How is Vinny... Oh, and he's celebrating like a twat. That is the goal we concede. That's so annoying. Oh my God, they've got us on the counter-attack. They're doing what we do to everyone else to us. And Mbappe goes for the shot. Beach makes the save. We will likely get the last opportunity. I want to unleash Iran Kunda. I don't know who that defender is, but he steps up. Please, Jared. Please. Iran Kunda. Iran Kunda. Iran Kunda! Iran Kunda! You are kidding me! Oh my God. Oh my God. Nesteri Iran Kunda. Oh my sweet baby Jesus. We are going to win a Champions League with the Western Sydney Wanderers and Australia on the counter. Oh, bro, this is cooked. This is absolutely cooked. Oh, I need to start breathing properly before I have a before I have a heart attack. Nesteri Iran Kunda, you are something else, my man. One of the greatest players in rebuild history is going to put the dagger through the hearts of Real Madrid. I'm not even going to pick up the controller because that should be, and it is, the final play of this rebuild. Holy hell. Oh my God, this is a sight I never thought I would behold. I've already seen my club, the Western Sydney Wanderers, win an Asian Champions League, but now we have won a UEFA Champions League. Alessandro Sassari with the captain's armband. The Western Sydney Wanderers are European champions, and Australia is officially the world's best footballing nation. Lads, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on the video, click here to subscribe, and click here to check out another video.